Okay, we're talking about the accrual and prepayment. So it can be accrued expense. So it can be in expense for one party and income for the other party. So this expense can be prepaid, mean we pay the expense in advance, or accrued expense. And income, same. For the other party, it can be prepaid income or accrued income. Okay. Right now, I will write a sample question. Then we will explain the concept of the accrual and expense for both party. Let me write one a student pay 1500 pound in advance. Okay. So when someone pay the amount of money in advance, I will write over here as a I will say assume this is student and this institute for which they pay. Let's say KSA, this is the name of the institute. Okay. So when they pay the amount of money, student pay how much amount of money? 1500 pound. So this is outflow. This is outflow of the cash from the students. If you see transaction according to student point of view, there is a cash outflow. So credit will be bank. With how much amount of money? 1500. Okay. If you see regarding the institute or the organization or the supplier point of view, so they receive the cash. So debit will be bank. With how much amount of money? 1500. So look, the amount of money is paid from the pocket of the students and moving to the bank account of the institutes. So the student account will be credit and the institute account will be debit. Right now, if you see in the debit side, so debit side should be equal. So on the credit side we record as a bank. So it's not yet the student expense. So what we have to record? It will be prepaid expense with 1500. Okay. For a student is a which kind of the expense? Prepaid expense. Mean they pay the expense in advance but not yet recognize an expense. So it's worth like an asset. And what about for the KSA, the institute? Assume this is a institute, so they will it's not their income, but it will be prepaid income. Basically, it will be liability of the institutes against they have to provide the services. Same. I will write one another example. Okay. Let's say the next one example. I will say a student received the services and have not yet paid the fee estimated 1000. Okay, the student have not yet paid the fee, so it is estimated the total amount of money will be 1000. So right now, if I say according to student point of view, they have to record the expenses. Right now I am talking about the accrued expense and accrued income. So if I say according to student point of view, they have to record their expense. So debit will be expense with how much amount of money? 1000. And what about the institute? They will be record credit income. Even though they have not yet received the money, but still they record as a still them record as a income. Okay, so credit will be accrual with 1000. So mean this is the expense for which we have not yet received the invoice, but we have to record as a accrued expense. And for the institutes, they will record debit will be accrued income with 1000. So let me write one more example with a prepayment and one for the accrual to make sure this concept is clear 100%. Let's say we pay a rent of 1200 in advance. Okay, so right now we have to see the double entry according to both owner and tenant point of view. So here we're talking about the prepayment. We are talking about the expense. Let me call the expense topic. Sorry, we're talking about the prepayment. Okay, so this prepayment I will record according to the both tenant and owner. Okay, when the tenant pay 1200 in advance, so what does it mean? It will be cash outflow from the tenant bank account. So their bank account will be credits with how much amount of money? 1200. And what about the owner of the property? Their bank account will be debit with how much amount of money? 1200. Look, the tenant account will be credits because the amount of money will be moved from their account to the bank account with 1200. So debit it will be prepayment. We make a payment of the 1200. And what about this one? So debit is bank and credit will be prepaid income. Mean we receive the income in advance. It's not yet my income, but after 12 months, when the tenant is leaving the room for 12 months, it will become our income. For time being, it will be recorded as a prepaid income. Let me write one more example of the accrual. For the accrual, I will write one example. For the last 2 months, we have not yet received the electricity bill, which is estimated of 500. Okay, for the last 2 months, we are expecting that we will receive a bill. We have not yet received an electricity bill, but on the basis of the previous experience, it's expected the amount will be, we can say 500. So I will write down the double entry according to electricity company and according to the consumers point of view. Okay, for one it will be expense, for the other company it will be income. So being a consumer, I will record debit will be my electricity expense with 500. Okay, the owner of this electricity company, they will be record credit will be income with 500. So for me it will be expense, for the electricity company it will be income. Then I'm not sure about what amount of money I will receive. So if when I bill receive, I will say debit expense credit payable, but right now the bill is not yet received, so I will write as a accrual with how much amount of money? 500. And what about the electricity company? They have not yet issued any kind of the bill. They will be recorded as a accrued income. 500. So accrued income basically is a kind of the receivable, but it's not, invoice have not yet issued, so we record them as a accrued income. Thank you for watching.